Morning, log reporting. Oh, good Lord, he's back again. Yeah. It's 2:42 in the morning, West Coast time, the July 26, 2024. The Weaver John C. of Roseman, California. The zombie out here who is not alive and not awake yet. Rrrr. You ever had, uh, not deja vu, but memories pop up and haunt the living crap out of you? Yeah, it's happening to me too. It's been happening. And I've been trying to deal with that this morning when I got up. I hadn't had that much sleep. I never get that much sleep. I mean, gone are the days when I would actually have about 4 to 6 hours of sleep, or maybe 8 hours of sleep if I was lucky. A lot younger, but these days, if I get at least 1.5 or 2 hours of sleep, maybe out of a 4 or 5 hour cycle, maybe I'd be lucky enough on that one. Other than that, forget it. I'm not lucky. I'm going through some of my programs that I have on here, and I came into a flashback on Facebook. I'm just trying to get one of my programs working. It's an old one. It's called Google Earth. I've been using that a lot these days. The Google Earth would go maybe about 30 or 40 years in the past to see what you've been looking at. And I've been using this thing sporadically. Only when I need to look at something in the past and it's going to be black and white, but just pull me into that kind of weird ass melancholy situation where I'm just depressed as hell. Depressed as hell on this one here. I came across one of the postings on Facebook concerning about memories of a certain neighborhood I used to live in a long time ago. Then I started remembering other things I had been part of in that time period, comparing to what I had been in the latest, and then realized, why the hell did I do that shit to myself? I just discovered how lousy the area was in the present, but in the past it was home because I had different perspectives, different viewpoint. What the hell is this damn thing trying to work on right now? Here we go. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm having issues with my damn thing. What else is new? Well, I could tell you folks to go to use Google Maps and see what I'm looking at currently, but right now I'm using Google Earth. Now, if you actually do have Google Earth, that's cool. Because right now I'm going into a neighborhood that I used to live in, and I wanted to see about home. Google Earth depends upon internet. Like all the map programs, they depend greatly on the internet. And it'll draw upon the database, the data farm that they got of all the old stuff once I start requesting the information of what I'm looking for. What I'm going for is I'm going back in time. I'm going back in time where hopefully if I can see a neighborhood just one more time and get a good picture of it. I don't care if it's black and white or not. I don't care. I just want to see the old place. It's going to take a few minutes for Google Earth to sort this mess out. I'm going back to 1985 if I can. December of 1985. There's a slide bar on there. And with the slide bar, it'll show me what I was looking at when I graduated out of high school. I was trying to locate an area of North Hollywood that I frequented a great deal. I used to live back in the 70s on the street of Van Noyen and Ethel. And I'm just waiting for the computer to get me in there. I'm trying to see when the old Victory movie theater got broken down. I was trying to see an old map of my brother and I would be traversing in the area for. So I am just waiting for the information to get unmuddied if I can. Pixels suck. Because currently, when I look at the map of Coldwater and Victory, I see what the change. I see what has been established for over 40 to nearly 45 years. But as a kid growing up, going to elementary school, there were certain areas that I remember walking through with my brother as we would try to get food from a McDonald's. And in the area, as I said before, there was a movie theater at one time, the Victory Drive-In. Now, on some of the pages on Facebook, classic pages for San Fernando Valley and Valley Relics Group, if I'm not mistaken, it's in that area, it's in those pages that I have found images of the Victory Drive-In. It's not the drive-in itself that the movies that I would watch over there. It's having its presence being a landmark over there. And the memories that would happen. We actually had enough money at sometimes. Maud would send me and my big brother uh, to go to McDonald's to get grub. It'll take us some time to get it. By the time we got it, it was ice cold anyway. And not much on the fries. Not much on the fries. Kind of sucked. Kind of sucked. And let's see. I'm trying to get. If I can get this thing working here, I mean, it might be a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it was back in '89 and earlier than that. All right, let me see what we had for the '85. Okay, that's what I thought. So it was in the late '70s, early '80s that the Victory Drive-In was torn apart. I wanted to see that place, you know. There were side streets that my brother and I would take from Van Owen and Ethel just to get over there. We would stop at different places, and we had to get some ammunition to toss stuff at each other. So these plants with these little rubber things on them. And I don't know how many neighbors got pissed off at the neighborhood kids doing that, because I did see a lot of those broken off pieces on those plants. And we just chucked the stuff at each other. It was stuff to throw at each other. We were kids. We didn't know any better. When we'd get closer to the theater, we'd watch it a little bit and head over to McDonald's to the back way, go get the food, and then go back and maybe take about 10 or 15 minutes watching the movie while munching on the fries. We get home. Ma would send us back out again for fries again. You stopped at the theater, didn't you, boys? Yeah, we did. Go on. We'd go out again, get the fries, and come right back. Some things we would do are the things we missed. And different places we would go to. I'm also trying to find old places that my brother and I would also go to for ribs. Chris and Pitts used to be on Woodman and Victory. They were good ribs too. Some of the places have already disappeared off the map. And I can't even see it half of it anyway. But yeah. Looking at the old maps of places my brother and I would have gone to, it just rings home of how things really changed us a great deal growing up. I'm not quite sure if I mean that in a good way or a bad way, but it was just places that we used to eat at, memories of red brick building that would have Crescent Pit's sign on it. And inside the restaurant, if you're doing the dine-in, and very rarely we actually did that as a family, but we would go in there and wait for the food, and we'd see the shavings on the floor. If I'm not mistaken, back then, numero unos did the same thing with their own. And then the fire marshals would give them notice, clean the stuff up. They no longer did it because it was a fire hazard. Didn't blame them anyway. A couple of places burned down that way. It's just, I started feeling the nostalgia. I started feeling of old times. Times and places I've missed going to. You know, for decades they got the barbecue sauce for Crescent Pits. If you wanted the ribs cooked, that's what you would use. It was always distinctive, but the way they cooked it was better because it fell off the bone. You had the meat stuck in your teeth all the time. I don't know what's put me on this one here. Every time I keep looking at the valley, there's always something that reminds me, and always something that puts me into a more of a depressional stage than I remembered. And wondering why did I actually go back there in the first place? There are certain buildings that I would deal with in those areas in those times. I really didn't want to deal with. As much as I tried to get the Google Maps to show me way back then of what I used to look like, or actually what places used to look like back then. It was just hard as hell to get the distinction on there. Because some of those places gave me bad memories. I remember my old pediatrician, Dr. Marvin Stopek, God rest his soul. Tough as nails. Guy was an old country doctor. Didn't take attitude from any kid. He really didn't. He was a good pediatrician. He's tough as hell. He wanted the parents to be tough as hell on their kids. He didn't like whining as much. He didn't like scare. He didn't like scared kids. Well, hell, I didn't like being scared either. But I was there. I was terrified enough. I know time changes and places have to change with them as well. Disappear left and right. Kind of sucks. Every time I kept looking at this at here, I was trying to capture what a kid would feel back then, connected somehow to a place that birthed him, nurtured him, and then he set off on his own. I didn't set off on my own. I set off with my damn family. What am I talking about? I can't deal with Google Pro. I'll deal with the Google Maps. It's the current stuff, and I'm able to look at stuff a little bit more in detail. What the school and complexes look like these days. They changed, built, modified, and it still looks like it's hell. I was looking at the old McDonald's, actually looking at McDonald's these days. How much of it's changed. the music I would hear in the background in my head would remind me of places that mattered a damn. I'm looking at one particular building on Victory Boulevard. That's across the street from the shopping center that used to be the theater. I'm surprised the Catholic Church is still there. It's on Morris Avenue in Victory. Valley Village Care Center. A friend of mine passed away. She lived there about 2 or 3 years after having issues with her hip and other health issues that she had to live in the hospital. I thought she was going to get better, but apparently she didn't. And the last time Dave and I saw her, we were taking the bus, actually taking a train, and bus. How to get down there. Got pictures before she passed away. Still hurts like hell. Place has been there for decades. Changed, modified, but it's been there for decades. Places I used to use as a landmark that mutated and rebuilt. But it all changed in the area. Yeah, the valley has mutated and morphed into different ways that I hadn't figured out. I mean, the streets themselves are the same, but the buildings change. Kind of throws me off. I say it with matter of fact, but I tell you, there's no such thing as matter of fact, especially when you're looking at home has changed so much that I don't recognize it anymore. They say you can't go back. Well, technically you can go back, but the problem is you can't go back in time and see the places that you used to love and share and felt comfortable in. Because unfortunately, what you deal with is heartbreak. Heartbreak. Sometimes I talk to the older generation I was growing up, or even at my own age, tried to get a bit of a perspective. I don't talk to the people of my own age, not as much. I wanted to get a perspective of what the older generation looks at compared to our current generation right now. And for a lot of them, it drives them crazy that they see these newfangled changes happening that they don't know what to make of it anymore. And I don't blame them. I mean, there's been a lot of things happening that still make me question why. Why these things happen here? Why did something else happen? And they had. They had. It was just hard to understand and deal with it, you know? Yesterday, I was dealing with a lot of information pumping in concerning about a lot of fires happening throughout the West. Apparently, there's been a lot of activity happening, and it's freaking people out. It literally is freaking people out. We had fires that have already been out here in the Antelope Valley, small ones to nearly large ones. And those things have been uh, emotional triggers for some of us. Well, particularly me anyway. I mean, hell, living in the San Fernando Valley, I'd seen a hell of a lot of fires in the Southland that drove me crazy. You know, from Ventura, Santa Barbara area, all the way down to San Diego. Sheesh. seen the San Fernando Valley. See its rim torched a bit here and there. Hollywood Hills, St. Gabe's, Angeles National. See Malibu go up a couple of times. Universal, well, not much in the fires up in that area. Sunline would go up. Tonga, yeah. Angeles in the northern region, right by the 14 and 5. Places get burned down. There had been trailer homes get torched in those days. We wouldn't have the housing community a long time ago. We didn't have that much. But we still had the smaller communities up there getting burned out. Santa Paula, Fillmore. What is it with us? If it's not one damn thing, it's got to be another thing. We got to see fire all the damn time in the season. Take the one particular condition we actually did have. I mean, we had a cycling center on I and Sierra Highway. Let's take a gander over there, shall we, boys and girls? Shall we take a gander over there? Alrighty. Get damn traffic off of this shit. Traffic, maybe. Let's get the satellite. Okay, as I keep telling boys and girls to do, go to your Google Maps or MapQuest, whatever you're using. Look at the old Antelope Valley area. Try to locate the rail right, the rail and Sierra Highway. Follow it up until you see Avenue I. There's a large area. Of collection of vehicles somewhere in the territory. And this area was a recycling yard. Yesterday, what we were watching on the tube, we were also seeing happening in real life. North of Avenue I and underneath Avenue H. Like a pickup parts for your vehicle. Recycling and also pickup parts. Well, pickup parts got torched. Took several hours for them to get the thing hauled out. All put out. But that was a lot of smoke and a lot of crap going through the air, heading east on it. We saw it over in Roseman. We didn't smell it, but we saw it. About 2:30 it started in the afternoon. And then it was nonstop on Channel 7. KBC TV, Los Angeles, Channel 7. Of course, with the streaming services, we just see a helicopter on streaming. You just watching the whole damn thing. Let's be mesmerized by the whole fire. I prefer doing the police chases. More dramatic. But still, seeing the fire out there. Yeah, that's dramatic enough. Imagine if you're underneath the damn clouds. It's either an evacuation order or you seal up yourself like crazy. Businesses had to shut down and seal up because there was a lot of gases out there coming through the ashes and through the smoke. Yeah, raises anxiety level left and right on that one, that's for damn sure. I mean, here I was trying to talk about memories of a food run going from one place to another place, and I started thinking about that damn fire situation. Back to San Fernando Valley, we did see the fires out there. We did see the fires in the hillsides. And it always left me with a bad taste in my mouth because there was always the ash and soot there. I was surprised I didn't have anything cemented in my lungs. We actually had smog alert in those days. They were still trying to get the AQMD working over there for Southern California. Trying to make standards in the local and state just so we had the air quality level out. You know, we had lead cars. Actually, we had leaded gas. It was leaded and unleaded. You had factories. You had buses. You had this constant haze. Sometimes there was, you could detect it, taste it, feel it. Other days, the marine haze would, actually, the marine layer would just blow that shit out somehow. Made someone else's issues over that. But every time we had fires, we tasted it, felt it, and people are like, it's just another fire. Me, I'm like, oh shit, not again. I'm thinking part of my home was going to get burned down. I mean, looking at the valley itself, you think it's small, but when you're living in there, it's pretty damn large. I mean, it's pretty damn large from end to end on that one. But as a kid growing up, I still saw fire. Part of my home was getting burned down. If it wasn't for Cagle Canyon or Lakeview Terrace, La Crescenta Montrose, La Crescenta Flintridge going up. Glendale would have a time of it. So would Burbank, Pasadena, and then there was Los Feliz. Once in a great while. That still scared the hell out of people. What would scare the hell out of people is when the fire started going across the San Gabes. Topanga State Park would go up, and people would be having conniption fits. Calabasas, Agora Hills, Westlake Village, Oak Park, Bell Canyon, PCH, Hidden Valley, Thousand Oaks. Simi Valley would have a conniption fit on that one. Hell, if that wasn't bad enough, how about the hillsides when you actually had Fillmore and the canyon areas of that one, Santa Paula? I mean, yeah, I would remember these damn things because they would talk about them on a great deal. And over the past 40, 45 years, or more than that, long more than that, I would remember those fires. It was bad enough when I was working last few years before I had to move out. I was working in Woodland Hills. I saw Bell Canyon and Hidden Hills and Calabasas in certain spots going up. I'd see it from workplaces. And I'd feel the adrenaline. I'd feel the fear in that one. Too close to home. Too close to home. Back in '05, the family moved out of the valley. We couldn't afford places. No places available. We go in Antelope Valley. Okay, we're fine, right? We'll go to Palmdale. And what did we see? Angeles National Forest going up. Lake Elizabeth going up in the area. Holy crap, what else was going to go up? Oh, how about scrub fires? Certain areas would go up. That's what scared the hell out of me even worse. Made me sick to my stomach. Just even thinking about it, just talking about it made me sick to my stomach. Because I was seeing these things happen. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. It was bad enough when the first year my family would be moving into 27th and S area. We had a fire station. Right behind the fire station, there would have been a field. A field of scrub brush. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I mean, yes, we had the fire department there. But at any time, if there was going to be any fires, I wasn't quite sure if these guys are going to be fast enough to get out there. On some occasions they were, actually. Especially when it came down for fireworks during July 4th, and not to mention on New Year's. It's one thing my brother and I would be out there watching stuff in the neighborhood, blowing things up left and right. But the one thing I was watching for is making sure that the desert region in that area, that scrub area, was going to be flame free. Just nothing on her. There was a lot of things we did. There was a lot of things we went through. Since living out here in Roseman, I'd seen more fires close to home than anything else, and it still scares the hell out of me. But if I started moving up north, there's going to be no place for me to go anyway. Everything else would be burned alive, like the war, like tinder, and that's terrifying enough. Areas that may look green on a screen, not so much. Yeah, just a lot of ugly memories and a lot of things going through this morning. I'll talk later, guys.